Hey everybody, it's the Dodgy Yeti here, and I'm back with my boys doing the Thicc Boi Hours podcast, episode 2. And today we have quite a bit of topics from Mr. Chris Jones on the Nintendo Direct, right? Well, you got a few things
Yeah,
that you want to talk
there's
about.
actually two. Yeah, there's actually two Nintendo events that we'll talk about and
Wait,
getting all
did they have a
to
secret one?
gritty
Were you
detail.
the only one invited?
No, no, they had a earlier in the week they had one where they announced the shitload of games, a virtual game card, and an app that we'll talk about, and then they had one. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. They had another one that they announced more games, a lot of stuff strictly for the Switch 2 specifically, which we already knew about on the sec. Was it sec? We already knew this event was coming, and they said they'd announce more at a later date about official pricing and stuff like that. But we'll get into all those details.
Yeah, I seen some of those pricings. Yikes. But that and me and Q stayed up till like 2, 3 o'clock last night playing the new title update for Monster Hunter. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that. But let's get into the Nintendo Direct stuff because I'm interested to. I seen the pricing and some of the titles and everything that they want to bring to the Switch too. I haven't heard much more than that because, yeah, the pricing didn't sit too nicely with myself.
Well, first we'll talk about the get into the first Nintendo event. I'm going to list off all the announcements, so try to uh, pick out which games you might think that you'd be interested in or whatever. Probably get some conversation about that. Um, Dragon Quest One and Two HD 2D remake. We got a new trailer for that. Something I've been looking forward to a long time as someone that's not played the original Dragon Quest. And you know me, I don't mind going back playing the old games, stuff like that. I like the pixelated art styles and stuff like that. I've only played Dragon Quest 7, 10, and 11. So looking forward to playing the remakes of 1, 2, and then 3, which is already out. We got No Sleep for Economy Date from AI, the Somnium Files. Yes, that's the full name. Rydell Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. Got a trailer for that. Shadow Labyrinth, a new trailer. Patapon 1 and 2 replay, a revealed trailer. Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar for people that enjoy those types of games. There's a revealed trailer for that. Big Nintendo people probably obviously been waiting for the Metroid Prime newest game, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, new trailer for that. If you're a Disney fan, we got Disney Villains, Cursed Cafe, a revealed trailer, and a Shadow Drop release for that day. Uh, Witch Book revealed trailer, Eternal Life of Goldman, a new trailer, and the release window. Grady's fans will be happy for Grady's Origins revealed trailer. Then we got Rift of the Necro Dancer, Switch version, Shadow Drop, and DLC plans revealed. Tamagotchi Plaza. I've never been a Tamagotchi fan, but for people that enjoy those, there's a revealed trailer for that. Pokemon Legends ZA, new trailer, release
Yeah.
window revealed. Um, when I announce all this stuff, we'll talk more about that specifically. Rhythm Heaven Grove revealed trailer. Virtual game card. There was the feature reveal where it talks about sharing digital games between Switch. We'll talk about stuff for that in a second. High on Life, the originally Xbox exclusive game, big in Game Pass. It's probably one of the funniest games I've played in a long time. Raunchy, gory, cusses, all this hilarious stuff. But they brought High on Life to the Switch as Xbox's multi-platform approach for a lot of their games to hit other platforms and other areas. Continues forward. Star Overdrive release trailer. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time trailer. Saga Frontier 2 Remastered. I know I personally have a lot of followers that are JRPG fans that love the Saga series. Monument Valley series coming to the Switch. Hot Shot Golf fans, you'll be happy. We got Everyone's Golf Hot Shots reveal trailer. That is a PlayStation, I believe, that's a PlayStation game specifically that is currently going to be exclusive to the Switch. If I'm right, people can correct me in the comments section later if I am wrong. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream reveal trailer, and the Nintendo app announcement. So before we get into the conversations about those specifically, the virtual game card. They revealed this feature at this first Nintendo event. Allows people to share digital games between Switches, which, if you've been playing PlayStation, um, Xbox for a long time, you've been able to do like the home PlayStation game share, Xbox home situation where multiple people can play the same game, stuff like that. Even Steam has a family group feature where multiple people can play the same games on Steam, but not at the same time. Virtual game card. Um, what I know without verbatim reading the article, which I do believe I have pulled up, allows people to share games between obviously home primary systems. You can lend a virtual game card to one of the 8 members of your Nintendo account family group for 14 days, or unless somebody gives it back to you early. The process requires both systems to connect via local wireless and feature an internet connection. Once lent, the borrower can keep their saved data, picking up where they left off if they borrow or buy the game later. So that's a cool thing.
Very cool.
Virtual game cards is a great fresh feature. As we know, Switch has always been behind Xbox, PlayStation, stuff like that in the features, as Nintendo's kind of just in their own realm, per se, when it comes to how they wade the waters in the gaming market, so to speak. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the rest of the Nintendo stuff. So Nintendo likes to stick to the Nintendo. How's the saying go? Can't remember how the saying goes, but Nintendo does what Nintendo wants. So what were you going to say, Skaggs?
Well, they kind of get to do that in general just because they, unlike Xbox and PlayStation, which are like home consoles and everything, like Nintendo's always made, outside of like a few consoles, has been portable. And nobody's really been able to challenge Nintendo for the portable game market. Like, it's always just been Nintendo, like, as king. Like, we had the PSP for a little while, PS Vita, stuff like that, but I mean, you can't ever, I don't think anybody can sit there and lie that they even remotely came close to dethroning the Switch, the Game Boy Advance, the 3DS, anything like that. I mean, so they got the portable gaming market on lock, pretty much a monopoly at this point, and they have some of the most home staple titles in Zelda and Pokemon and Mario, every different kind of Mario, and I don't know, it's one of those things that they get to do what they want, and we just have to deal with it. They can be slow on everything because everybody's still going to buy Pokemon. Everybody's still going to buy Zelda whenever it comes out. Because, one, it will be a fun game.
I would like to push back a little bit with that.
Huh?
I would like to push back on the fact that I don't think they own the market anymore in portable. We have as much as I'm a console guy, I will always be a console guy. Just the fact of being able to sit on the couch, whether it be with my Switch dock, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever future systems might come out or whatever that allows me. I prefer sitting while I play my Quest, stuff like that. Even though I'm the console guy, PC is probably the best overall place to play. And even though, like I said, I'm a console guy through and through, but Steam Deck. I think Steam Deck's going to give in this next generation of Nintendo hardware give Switch a run for its money, and we also have stuff like the ROG Ally. That's another good portable gaming system. I don't know how much you guys know about the ROG Ally specifically. Xbox has been prototyping or partnering to come up with their own portable device. I believe personally that we'll get an announcement very soon. Probably, if I had to be prediction Chris for a minute, I think probably next couple weeks we will get some type of new information about whatever the Xbox hardware might be, and I think it's going to be a partnership with the people that do make the ROG Ally,
Yeah,
because you can get
I didn't know
you get
anything
Game
about that.
Pass already automatically. Yeah, you get Game Pass automatically on the ROG Ally, I do believe.
Hmm.
And PlayStation had the I can't think of the name for it right now, but they had their recently they had their wireless portable device come out. I know people are going to kill me because I can't remember the name of it, but for the mostly it was just like remote play on your couch throughout your house as long as you're connected to PlayStation. But they've been, researching and kind of pushing that more towards cloud-based stuff like that. So even though it's not a PSP or PSP Vita, as I was also a PSP guy, let me tell you about that Dungeons and Dragons Tactics.
I
Suikoden
loved
1 and
it.
2 Japanese on the PSP. Let me tell you about Metal Gear Acid, my favorite Metal Gear game on the PSP. Lord of the Rings Tactics, big tactics guy. But I do love my Switch as well. Big Pokemon guy. And I think that you were correct in saying that we have all the Marios, because Mario's is always good. All the Zeldas, they're always innovating, always good. I know a lot of people aren't giant fans of the newest Zelda game coming out, which we will talk about in my next set of Nintendo stuff. But I think if Pokemon doesn't have a banger with Pokemon ZA, I think it might be a situation where it's still a flagship franchise, but I think it's starting to fall in the way of like the Halo situation with Xbox, whereas Halo Infinite didn't do the numbers Xbox wanted. I enjoyed Halo Infinite, but it didn't do as well as Halo normally does. And with the way Pokemon, I think it was Scarlet Violet came out, the crappy graphics at launch or whatever. I think that was the game. And then this Pokemon game doesn't look much different. However, your boy Chris is a Pokemon guy. It's the thing that gets me to buy a Switch. I literally bought my Switch for Pokemon.
Yep.
Q literally 2 years ago bought me Pokemon Scarlet for Christmas. Like, Pokemon guy, I love playing competitively online. So I'm hoping, for the sake of the Pokemon franchise, that they do have a banger here. And the virtual game card is cool. I don't have, well, technically I have multiple Switches, but none of the kids in the house are going to play any of the games that I have. And I'm not an Animal Crossing fan, so I'm not going to play any of the games that they have. However, if they could have allowed for, even if they had like a smaller number in their family, I think it's up to 8 people in the family thing for the Switch group, to be able to have people play the game at the same time, I think would have been drastically better. I know obviously they want to make the money, let people borrow the game, they get hooked, they buy the game.
Yep.
And Steam does the same thing. I don't think people in the Steam family thing can play the situation together at the same time, but
Yeah,
I am slightly worried about the Pokemon game, but I do have high hopes for the virtual game card helping some situations.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know a lot about. I'll mention one more thing, and then we'll get to Q. The Nintendo Today app is a digital calendar news mobile app that's going to primarily center around delivering news related to their products, as well as informing users of upcoming real life in-game events through the use of this mobile app. It's kind of like, Xbox has Xbox app, PlayStation got their PlayStation app. Nintendo's kind of venturing out and doing that. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about this set of Nintendo announcements before we get to the other ones.
I have one thing to kind of travel back on the consoles versus Switch thing that we were talking about. So, I do like the Steam Deck. I do think the Steam Deck is on its way to giving the Nintendo Switch a run for its money. The only thing that I can say about the Steam Deck is it's built for PC games, whereas a lot of PC games are not built with controller integration in mind. So, where Nintendo has the upper hand is every single game that Nintendo makes is with a controller in mind. And then the controller's built into your Switch, obviously, when you go portable. So Nintendo and consoles, like you said, if Xbox is coming out with their own, PlayStation, I believe it's called the Portal. I looked it up. Does that sound right? The PlayStation Portal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
So
exactly what it is.
they will always have the upper hand because every game that they develop is automatically controller in mind. And ever since people have been playing the Game Boy, it's
Well, not only
a
that,
controller style.
to piggyback off of you, my get back on that example was that everything that's on like the Steam Deck, and it sounds like Microsoft might go the same way as like the Steam Deck, is made for like consoles and PCs instead of the Steam Deck. And so like sometimes it gets like it becomes an issue with like clarity because there's so much on your screen because you're supposed to be playing this game on like a bigger screen and you have this real small screen, and it can be a little like cumbersome sometimes. And because like I have a Steam Deck and I love my Steam Deck, I won't get rid of it. It's good for like moments whenever like me and the girlfriend are just chilling downstairs watching movies or whatever. And like if I'm out on a job where I'm just babysitting, I'll bring it and my Switch. But that's it. That's the only kind of complaint that I really ever had with it. Well, that and the battery life. The battery life is ass. But just some games, like I've tried to play like some of the older Assassin's Creeds on it, and the visually it's just a little too like not defined. Where like Zelda and other games like that, Pokemon, are made with that like real small screen in mind, and that you're going to be playing it that way. And if you put it in the dock and scale it up, then it just looks a little bit better.
That being said, none of that to take away from. I think everybody should go the route of handheld, or at least have a handheld option. That way, you can play games however you want to play games. But I think Nintendo kind of will always have that mark. I mean, it's pretty hard when, and I know you guys experienced it too, from when you were a kid up until probably 10 years ago. If you had any kind of handheld game, it didn't matter if it was a McDonald's toy or something like that, your grandpa was calling that a Game Boy. Are you playing on your Game Boy? Is that a Game Boy? What are you doing on your Game Boy? So when you become a household name just because of the handheldness of your consoles, you're gonna be that guy for a while.
I even had you talk about you playing on the Game Boy. I even had a thing to where my uncle kind of helped my mom raise me growing up, and that's who I played a lot of like wrestling games and stuff with. He never even referred to anything as a specific of whatever the console was. Didn't matter, Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube, whatever. He's like, "You gonna play the game? You gonna play the game?" That's kind of what I got with my uncle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
Something I also want to mention before we go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, or everything was just a PlayStation, or everything was just a Nintendo.
Yep.
That's how my grandma was. She was like, "You want to play the Nintendo?" And it's like, "Sure." And here is a PlayStation, and it's like, I was all set for some Dr. Mario, and now I got to figure out what I want to play.
It plays games. It's a Nintendo.
But go ahead, Chris. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Something that's interesting to know is it's hard to determine the future of any landscape for any uh, particular one company. Like I mentioned, Xbox has this multi-platform strategy since they finished the purchase of Activision Blizzard King, where more of their games are going as many places as they could possibly put them. Um, and even though they're not getting anything in return, like we've been seeing this for a long time, even when they still had like exclusive stuff. Like I think Super Smash had like Master Chief or like Banjo Kazooie or something like that. I'm not really a Smash person, but I know they had like Xbox IP characters and like Minecraft's been on multiple platforms, but they were never going to take that off. That's a shitload of money there. But rumors, obviously, like I said, Xbox is not slowing down with this multi-platform strategy. Makes a shitload of money. Um, Call of Duty's probably the top moneymaker game every year. But there's been recent rumors of, I don't know how true this is. Like I said, grain of salt. I'm saying rumors that Xbox on their next generation console is going to have like a Steam OS type dashboard where, like, I don't know specifically how that would work. A lot of people hypothesize like it would be like a setting like when I think of it, like, like if you have multiple social media accounts, say you got like two Facebook accounts, like I run my Facebook, obviously, and then I'm a community manager, so I run the site's Facebook, and it gives you the option to switch between Facebooks. It does the same thing with Twitter. I think Instagram might do the same thing as well. But when I think of like a second like OS type dashboard, I think it will have like you'll be able to switch between or have like a little some people say like a little switch or something like that. But like supposedly the rumor is Steam OS is going to come to the next Xbox console. And what that could mean, if that does happen, like I said, I don't know. Um, PlayStation games go to PC. So, like, PlayStation would not be able to put games on Steam or Epic or whatever, put games on Steam and say specifically that the OS dashboard for Xbox can't have this game. Like, that's just not how a storefront marketplace works. And then like PlayStation has been going multi-platform more. They put the I think it was a Lego Horizon game recently went to the Switch. I mentioned that Hot Shots golf style game. And I think that's a PlayStation IP. That's like a Switch or something like that. And like the only person that stayed in their lane, so to speak, and not put games elsewhere is Nintendo. But who's to say that doesn't happen? I don't think it will, and we'll talk about that when we get to game prices in a minute. But
They don't
I
really
just think it's
have to.
interesting to where,
They have the dock.
well,
They have a at home console in the Switch. It's
I
a
get that, but companies companies make more money the more places they put their games.
fair
So
enough.
I don't think Nintendo will. I would love to have
GameCube 2.
the old Pokemon games on consoles, like a
Yep.
PlayStation or an Xbox or something like that. But to
I
move
think
on,
Nintendo will
unless you guys
have
have
to.
something else about this.
Yeah, I think Nintendo eventually will have to succumb to the realization that you have to be a little bit cross-platform, and I feel like they they eventually will, in the sense of it'll probably come out how how Xbox and PlayStation do now, where they'll come out as an exclusive for a set amount of time, and then allow the others to use them after a certain amount of time. Definitely keep your sales at your source, but and I say that thinking that that could be an eventuality, but they've stayed strong on not doing that for a long time.
Or do they go and make it a subscription launcher like on PC, and plus on top of a subscription you also still have to buy the games on PC. So they're double dipping on a subscription fee, like $10. $10 play Pokemon on my PC. I'm not happy about it, but I might just pay it. And then you got Pokemon on your PC. You got to buy it again or whatever. And that might be a way that they go their cross-platform.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think if they did something like that, they'd probably add it into Nintendo subscription that they have now and just possibly raise the price of that.
Yeah.
You
I
think they
remember.
would?
I don't know if you guys remember. I'm sure you. I'm. Oh yeah. If why have multiple subscription services and make yourselves do more work when you could just say, hey, we could put this Nintendo subscription service on other platforms, i.e., PC, and just save us the time and effort of having dual storefronts when we could just have this. We raise the price of this that we already have a shitload of people in. To be honest, there's a lot of people that when they sign up for subscription services, that it's the same thing with Netflix. Netflix goes up like once or twice every fucking year, and just there's a lot of people in subscription services that when the price gets raised, there's some people that they have that price where they will stop paying, but a lot of people just don't go through the effort of canceling that subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way of like you already have people ingrained in the subscription service. Like I didn't realize that Nintendo's subscription service had raised from $3 a year until like a year or two after I'd started being charged like whatever it is now, like $22 a year or some shit like that. I'm like, wasn't this
Yeah.
fucking $3? So
But
Yeah.
they got me good for a couple of years.
but there's also the thing is $22 a year versus like 10 or 15 a month gives you way more of an incentive to get a hold of their actual console. And so if
Yeah.
you it's kind of the pay the toll to the troll under the bridge if you want to play our game this way. They're going to get more money if they do $10 a month versus charging their Nintendo people already that are paying 22 a year to now they're going to be paying like 120 a year. People are going to be pissed about that increase. I mean, that's 6 times what you're already paying. But and people might just be like, yeah, absolutely not. That is beyond my cutoff. But what but if you bring out something on the PC that's brand new and doesn't have that preconceived notion of being $3 for a year or $22 for a year, you can charge that 10 or $15 for a subscription. I mean, WoW does the subscription base, and you gotta buy the new DLC whenever it comes out. If you're playing retail, but I don't know if that's. I could see them keeping it separate for that reason because they would make 6 times more a month off of somebody than and they wouldn't lose anybody on their Nintendo side. Plus, it would be more incentive to, okay, I'll just take that $100 that I would be paying difference, and I'll put it towards getting a Switch 2, and I'll just get a Switch 2 instead of playing it on my PC because I'm paying 10 or $15 a year.
My last thing to note on the topic is they might even go the route of Xbox. Xbox has multiple Game Pass models, i.e., Game Pass Ultimate. Listen to me clearly, is the best currently. I will stand on the hill. The best gaming service and all customer friendly gaming service. Period. And I do want to note that they also have like Game Pass PC specifically. They also have another version. Don't get that. I don't even know what it's called. It's like Game Pass Core. But like Nintendo could have the Nintendo what they have right now, Nintendo Switch Online. I think that's exactly what it's called. But then have like a separate at Nintendo Switch Online PC version where it's kind of watered down. The Nintendo Switch Online's the better service, and
Mm-hmm.
then probably get people to migrate over. But like saying, this is all just speculation, people out there.
Oh
So
yeah, it's
there
fun
was
to
another Nintendo event.
theorize.
There's another
They
Nintendo event, and I specifically want to talk about the features last, if that's all right, because that's the biggest section.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounded like
They
Q
announced a
had
lot of
something
games.
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Q, if you have something.
Oh, I was just gonna say their membership, Switch's membership stuff now is $20 a year for one person. You get online play and access to original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, online save data, all that kind of stuff. And then if you want to pay $20 extra a year, you can get the Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, Mario Kart Deluxe 8 for free, Animal Crossing, just a bunch of things. But then they have, I think, where they are going to start making all of their money based on what we were talking about with the virtual cartridge and things is the family plans. So for less than the premium plan, for an individual person, you can buy a family account that lets you link 8 accounts. You get the online play, original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, online save data, and all of that for $34.99. Or you can pay $80, $10 a person, get pretty much the entire library of everything that Nintendo's made up to Switch, because they want you to buy the Switch games, and play online, play with each other. Now with the virtual cartridges, you'll be able to even share that with friends that are outside of your family, if I'm understanding that right. So, they could easily add a extra $20, $30, whatever they wanted to do, and make that a cross-platform situation. Just add on to those subscriptions that they already have. Not to derail us any further on this Nintendo theory, but
No, it's fine. It's an important discussion because like I pay Game Pass Ultimate monthly. That's $18 or $19. I pay for PlayStation Premium plus whatever the fuck that is. That's 100 and I don't know $30. Just because I don't want to deal with have to know which services give me what, so I just pay for the best service of everything except Nintendo. I don't pay for a family plan, but I do have the 64. Mostly looking forward to what I'm going to talk about shortly because each generation of Nintendo one day will be in this service, and we'll get to that. So they had a second Nintendo event, which we knew was scheduled this entire time for a while. They talked about Mario Kart World, which is Switch 2 only. So sorry, original Switch users, you will have to upgrade. Thanks, Nintendo. You can drive practically anywhere in this game, off road, wherever you want to go. It's kind of like a Forza Horizon situation. There's a free roam mode. You finish a race, you want to play the Flower Cup, you finish a race, me, Q, and Skeggs, we're racing to the next race. Free roam to get to that next race.
Yep.
It's also going to launch same day as Nintendo. So, big Mario Kart fan. Not a big fan of the fact that Mario Kart 8's been the same price that it originally launched, but big Mario Kart
Jesus
fan. It's one of the
Christ.
Nintendo games that one of the games I was able to play with my daughter. She enjoyed a lot of Mario Kart too. And then we get let's see here. We get Kirby and I have these notes on sticky notes because I didn't get a chance to type them all up. Kirby and Forgotten Land, Switch 2. It will have I think it will be also on I think it will have original Switch version, but there I do have written down Switch 2 upgrade. So it's kind of like PS4, PS5 version. There's a upgrade you'll be able to get. Um, there will be Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 upgrades. So, like we said,
of
we
course,
were talking about Switch, talking about Zelda being a franchise. I've not played any of the more recent Zeldas just because there's a lot of fucking games to play, and
there is.
my time is limited. However, I don't mind going back and playing those older games. So at some point, I will go back and play these older Zelda
Is
games.
Breath of the Wild the new
Super
Skyrim?
Mario.
Yes.
I said, is Breath of the Wild the new Skyrim where
I
we're
hear
just
people
going to
say that
perpetually
all the
have?
time.
It's
I
I
don't
think
think
it is.
so. I think they just want get that extra bit of money for the Switch. They just want as much available for Switch 2. which you'll find out as we get into some unusual games that wouldn't normally run on a Switch console. We have
Mhm.
Super Mario Party Jamboree, another game that brings families together. Probably going to have people buy multiple copies. Because, like I said, when you do share the virtual card or whatever, two people can't play the same game at the same time. So, however, you're still going to need more than one copy.
Chris, you didn't
Switch
even
2, it will have upgrade features. Go ahead.
you didn't give us the best feature about Mario Kart, dude. You can have 24 people in a race. This isn't your standard itty bitty races anymore. This is a massive lobby of people racing.
I haven't got to all the features of all the
Oh,
video
we're
games.
gonna
This
break
is
them
just Sticky
down.
Note
Okay,
Chris going right
I
now.
got you. I got you.
Okay.
This is Sticky Note Chris, but that was probably the last feature that I didn't mention. Super Mario Party Jamboree launches July 24th. Utilizes Switch 2 features, which we'll get into that. There's a Joy Cons can act as mouses and stuff like that too. They have a Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour game. It's kind of like a guide of all the features on the Switch and stuff like that. I'm actually kind of mad that this is a paid game because you would think that this would be something they would include with the Switch just because it's not like, a Zelda, a Pokemon, and Mario. It's just like a guide of like Switch 2, kind of like how PlayStation, PS5 when they came out, or I think it's PS5. They had the Astros Playroom or whatever. It came with the PlayStation. You didn't have to buy the game, but it'll be interesting to see. A game where it talks about all the different features of the Switch. We have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. It is a prequel to. I think it's a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's a prequel to one of those games. It's the first Zelda game that the main character is a female lead, and we know how some people don't like that stuff in this day and age in video games. It doesn't technically bother me. They have a game called Delta Ruin, a game that wouldn't normally come to Switch. How many times have you seen big games like Civilization 7 coming to the Switch? They have Survival Kids, Borderlands 4, the most recent Borderlands 4 that's in development right now. We'll get more information from Randy Pitchford later on. He didn't say when, but I'm assuming before too long. But Borderlands 4 is probably coming the same time as it launches everywhere. So Xbox, PlayStation, PC, well, Switch is joining the family, getting Borderlands 4 as well. WWE 2K is going to be on Switch. I don't think there's any game like that on the Switch right now. NBA 2K as well. Then we have, we're going to talk about this later, so I'll save that note. We also have, they also re-announced Pokemon ZA. They also announced this Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. There will be Switch and Switch 2 versions. Pokemon ZA will have Switch 2 upgrades. Dragon Drive utilizes the Joy Cons. Specifically, I seen in the trailer like people driving on they had the Joy Cons there moving it on like a wall, and like Dragon Drive's kind of like a wheelchair style like basketball game. It actually looked kind of cool. Summer 2025. Elden Ring, Tarnished Edition, coming to the Switch too. They announced
Wow.
that. We know how popular Elden Ring is with Souls-like people, and we mentioned this in the first episode we did of the Thicc Boi hours. Elden Ring has the ability to be able to pull people that would have never thought about playing a Souls-like game. So Elden Ring coming to Switch 2. Yakuza 0 will be on Switch at launch. As somebody who never played a Yakuza game until Like a Dragon 7 on my Xbox One or whenever I played it. I absolutely love Yakuza 7. I loved Ichiban, one of the most hilarious protagonists. He's fucking funny. I've always been I'll say kind of into like the Yakuza stuff, like One of my favorite Fast and Furious movies is Tokyo Drift, just for the fact we get a little insight into like when they DK's like running the Yakuza stuff for his grandpa's. I like stuff like that. And then we got to see a lot of that more so in this game than Yakuza Infinite Wealth. I pre-ordered the expensive edition, and one of my favorite gaming moments in this generation of consoles, out of every console, happened in Yakuza Infinite Wealth. Still came out. It came out last year. I don't want to spoil anything for people that are still possibly playing Yakuza games. One of my favorite moments of all time is in that game, and I'll say of this generation is in that game. Kazuma Kiryu, I interact with the English voice actor all the time. He's an amazing guy. He's been featured in a couple of my video game articles I do at the end of the year. His name is Yang Yao. He has like, I think 54, between 47 and 54 voice credits I'm talking about. He's in the Persona games. He's in the Yakuza games. He's voice acted something in the Call of Duty game. He's been in an anime. Like, this dude is awesome. And to give me the time of day to be in one or two of my articles is fucking awesome. We have Street Fighter 6. Nintendo was the original place, obviously besides the arcades. Nintendo was the original home console where you were throwing down Street Fighter 2 on the Super NES. If Naruto never existed, Street Fighter would be my favorite fighting game franchise. Can't tell you how much I love Street Fighter. Hades 2, Hades 1, super globally populated, game of the year contender. I can't remember if it won game of the year or not. Hades was amazing. So Hades 2 is just, got to be just as good. We mentioned, I think I mentioned Split Fiction last time. If I didn't, Split Fiction's also coming out. The guy that made It Takes Two, the one that made Split Fiction, It Takes Two was a game of the year one game of the year. Split Fiction 2 has the potential to be just that. That's also a launch title. More than what I'm saying are probably launch titles as well. Damon Ex Machina Titanic Scion. I didn't really couldn't tell what this was from like the trailer, but it's like a interesting mech something fighting. I can't remember. In addition to the 2K games coming, we get Madden and Football Club coming to the Switch, which I don't think either of those have been on the Switch either. Bravely Default Flying Fairy launch title is going to come to Switch. They're remaking, updating that or something to bring it to Switch 2. We got Hogwarts Legacy coming to Switch 2 as a launch title for them. As someone who's not played Hogwarts Legacy, I will play it. I have it saved on my wish list on Xbox and PlayStation. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. As a big Tony Hawk fan, we all played those games. PlayStation, Xbox, Tony Hawk Underground 2. Absolutely loved it. Hitman World of Assassination. To have a game like Hitman come to Nintendo Switch. Also tremendous as a launch title as well. Story of Seasons, I mentioned that last time. We have Goodnight Universe, Marvel Comic Invasion. Clearly, we know how popular the Marvel franchise is, whether it's movies, whether it's video games. Even as recently as Magic the Gathering's partnered with Marvel. We had multiple Marvel cards introduced to Magic the Gathering. We have Wild Hearts S coming. We have 2 Point Museum for the 2 Point fans out there. Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft doing a little bit of extra work for the fans, attempting to bring Star Wars Outlaws. That's a game I'll be playing too. Fast Fusion, Witchbrook, I mentioned that. Shadow Labyrinth. Puyo Tetris 2S. I'm a Tetris fan. However, I don't know much about Puyo. I don't know if you guys do. We have Reanimal, Fortnite, Ruin Factory, Guardians of Azuma, Ruin Factory franchise, a very popular franchise. No Boinya's Ambition Awakening, Raiden Remastered, Mystery of Solus. I mentioned that one already. We have Arcade Archives, Ridge Racer 2. Old school people like me in their 30s and 40s remember Ridge Racer on original PlayStation, stuff like that. Professor Layton, The New World of Steam. Tamagotchi Plaza, mentioned that. Humans Fall Flat 2 will be making a debut on Switch. A new game from Software. I did not catch the name for this game, and I believe this is a Switch 2 exclusive. I don't know. It wasn't announced, but the way that it sounded, it could be a Switch 2 exclusive. But for PlayStation to put a big stake into the From Software studios to have a game being made just for Switch, if that's the case, is crazy. But
Dusk Bloods.
Elden Ring and there you go, Elden Ring and Dusk Bloods, both going to be on Switch too. Tremendous. Kirby Air Riders, a remake of an old Kirby game coming to Switch, and Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Wait,
So before we get to Switch features, there was one. Go ahead.
I seen something about one title that I didn't hear you mention, and I want to know if I'm right or not. XD Gale of Darkness.
What title?
That's
We're
not
getting
yet,
that
dude.
right now.
That's not
Hold on.
yet.
It's not yet. We're getting that. In addition,
Oh, you said you were
all
going on to
these
the
games that
features, so I
have
thought
been
you were done with the games.
No, I said one more thing before the features. You
Oh,
talked about subscription services. Q mentioned, Nintendo Switch has Nintendo Online, Game Boy Online. If you pay for the extra versions, you get the Nintendo 64 games that they have provided for you. Well, when Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, what other Nintendo generation exists that we don't have yet? Yes, your boy is talking about the GameCube generation. As we get the GameCube generation, there's a list of titles, which I will tell you will be available when the service, specifically the GameCube service, goes live. We have Wind Waker. For all the Zelda fans out there, Wind Waker was in my top 100 video games of all time. If you've not read that article, go check it out, lordsofgaming.net. Cheap plug. Soul Calibur 2 with Zelda as a playable character in it. F-Zero GX. They also have the ability to play locally or online in these games that support it. Those are the list of games that are provided at launch. You'll be able to play locally or online in whatever games provide that service. And they're also making a new controller with, I think it's got buttons on the bottom, kind of like an Elite PlayStation or Xbox controller. It's got extra buttons that allow you to map stuff. So like you could change the way the mapping works and stuff like that. More games will be announced. And in the screenshot of more games that will be announced later, didn't specify how long, they did show Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and another Pokemon game. I can't remember what the other ones that they did show.
Coliseum, I believe.
yes. Yes, and I seen that screenshot and
GameCube
was
coming.
hyped.
I was hoping for some Fire Emblem. As I mentioned, I'm a tactics guy. We've not had anything since Three Houses. I didn't play Three Houses. I think the last time I dived, like I'm talking about heavily dived into the Fire Emblem games, was Radiant Dawn on the Wii. I still have a Wii, and the only game I have is Radiant Dawn because that is the only game I have to have for the Wii. I got the strategy guide. I don't know what it is about the Fire Emblem games. Like, I know what it is about the Suikoden games. I can tell you what it is about the Final Fantasy games. I don't know what it is about the Fire Emblem games or games like Tactics Ogre Reborn, but I just get drawn into the turn-based grid style tactics games. It might be the characters. Sora. Can't think of his name, but some of they just like have like a deep story background in the franchise for each of these characters that I think that it might be what draws me into the Fire Emblem series. So I was a little, not gonna say upset. Like they announced a shitload of games. It's good for all Nintendo fans out there, but I would have liked to see a Fire Emblem game. That was the only thing I was upset about. And like I mentioned, the Pokemon game, I'm worried a little bit a feature I want to see for this Pokemon game. I don't know if it will be in there because it wasn't in Scarlet and Violet. The way I was hearing it talked about, like this might be the last newest generation of Pokemon. I don't know if they meant for the original Switch specifically, but like they should have the national dex. Like every Pokemon that's ever been made, they need to go all out for this game. I can't tell you how many times I've been looking for Scarlet and Violet because I used to write Pokemon Battle Team articles. I'm sure you realize I've not wrote one in a long time. Excuse me, a long time. That's because I just got over. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's the same thing with every competitive format, whether it be Pokemon, fighting games, trading card games. Like, there's a meta game, there's a format, there's a solved situation that goes on. So all the Pokemon teams have bled together over time. They're usually using like the same 5 Pokemon. A couple person will get lucky. They'll switch up like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. But like, I don't want to keep writing about the same teams. There used to be a Pokemon Discord, which I'm still in. They have like battle teams, all that stuff in there, but it's been getting a lot of like spam botted and stuff like that. So it's hard to get new teams. And for example, Shuckle is not in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I really wanted to write about a team with the primary feature being something to do with Shuckle, and can't do that when he's not in the game. So I would love to see the national decks. And I know I went over a lot of games. So anything on the games or these Nintendo announcements before we talk about the features?
So
I've got one. Oh, go ahead, Skeggs. I've been talking
I
a
was
bunch.
just gonna say you're gonna be disappointed because it's a Legends game and we will not have the national decks like that. You will have to wait for the next mainline game, and that's
But-
also a gripe of mine.
To piggyback with that, what they have done, which is where I hope they're taking this, is we're getting a new game that I don't know if you mentioned, Pokemon Champions. And I think it is not a release title.
That was one I did not mention that because I forgot. I don't think they had that at one of these 2 events. I do remember.
Yeah.
No, that was
That was on
specifically the
Pokemon.
Pokemon one.
Yeah. But when
Okay.
that releases, I think they're going the route of they really liked when we went to what was that? The Hisuian region in the Arceus game. I think they really like the format of being able to tell stories like that with Pokemon and really let you feel like you're in the Pokemon world because they're adding a lot of those elements to the new AZ game. And they're also making this Pokemon Champions game, which is literally just an online, let's see who's the best of the best with
It's Pokemon
battling
Showdown.
Pokemon. Exactly. But
I mean, you're
cool.
I'm right here. You're looking at
Yeah. The cool thing
I'm
about
best.
the Champions is it encourages you to have the other games because you can actually train and raise your Pokemon in your games, send them into bank, and you can use those Pokemon in Pokemon Champions. So I'm what my theory is they're going to kind of, because they've already in Scarlet and Violet stepped away from really heavy battle centric. Like you're allowed to pick and choose when or if you even want to battle anybody other than the main story stuff. You know, you're not getting stopped by trainers anymore. You're not getting random encounters in the wild with other trainers. So I'm thinking they might be going the route of people who want to battle and people who are mainly focused on battling. You have this avenue, this entire game where you can spend most of your time battling, and we're going to create Pokemon games where we can tell stories and let people run around in the open world and do the more collecting and the other side of Pokemon that people like. Because as much as I think they want it to be one and the same, like you should want to collect your Pokemon and battle them, more or less I find a lot more people who play Pokemon a lot, you're on one side of the fence or the other. And for me, sometimes I am in the mood to battle, but majority of the time I'm breeding Pokemon or catching Pokemon or leveling things up or shiny hunting. You know, I'm very much out of the battle scene. So I feel like this is a good split for them to say, everybody who wants to battle all the time, here's an entire game, and there's probably going to be a worldwide ranking system just to make it that much more of a get on here and see how good you are compared to the rest of the people in your category.
Well, and I
And
think the way that they're gonna do it is just like Showdown, where you don't even have to mess with breeding. I think it's a way for people to get into like the VGC format and everything like that a lot easier. I think
yeah,
you can move your Pokemon just because, like, if you get like me, I got a very nostalgic Nidoking, and I would move him in a heartbeat to go play instead of just generating one for myself on that champions. I would,
yeah.
and I think that's why they're allowing people to move. But if they do it right, and my theory is right as to why they're even doing this game, they will just let you choose your IV values, your EV values, and let you make the team in 10 minutes and go from there.
My thought is it's more of a stadium style game where they will probably have everything rental and it will be base all the way around, kind of like how you used to do online battles where it made everybody level 50 and you just went with what your abilities and things are. I'm assuming there's going to be a rental system, and then that's why they're doing the trade-in is to incentivize you. Not only don't only just buy this game, also buy our other mainstay games and spend time playing those games so that you can have a objectively better Pokemon than the one that you would be able to rent from our game.
Now, monetarily
The
wise, that
one
makes
thing I
way more
wanted to
sense.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to mention is, as someone that doesn't have a lot of time to breed Pokemon myself, as long as there's a rental code system where, like they have in Scarlet and Violet, where all the VCG teams, whatever, all of them have rental codes. You can rent the team that they played with exactly. Um, I'll be happy. So as long as they
Yeah.
got the rental codes and any other
Yeah.
games that piqued your interest.
I'm so ready for Donkey Kong Bonanza, dude. I love Donkey Kong. I love I love the fact that it just from the trailer. I mean, obviously I haven't played it or anything, but it feels like a perfect mixture of old Donkey Kong and like bringing him into the newer age kind of thing. We're not just side scrolling anymore or platforming anymore. So I'm pumped for that. I'm interested in the Tamagotchi title. I didn't hear about that one. And is it more or less just it kind of, I looked it up just a little bit here after you said it, and it just kind of looks like like you're playing with a Tamagotchi on your screen, on your TV.
I
That's
don't know much about it, but that's kind of the vibe I got too.
Yeah, or more like an Animal Crossing approach maybe to Tamagotchi.
yeah. No, I. By the way, Hades did win Game of the Year. I did end up looking
Oh,
that up.
Yes.
But
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of really good titles that are coming out. I feel like, and it does kind of suck that there's no Fire Emblem because I'm the reverse of you. I don't like the tile stuff, but I do have a Fire Emblem game that is one of the more like free combat style ones that was on the Switch. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong game, but it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it, and it'd be really cool to be able to make it. To me, I would love it to be more open and less tile like that. Whereas Chris would much prefer the tiles and stuff like that, the
I don't
tactic
I don't
style.
don't prefer the tiles. I just like the tiles. It's like anything anything specifically turn based. Like if I have to choose turn-based or real-time strategy, like don't get me wrong, Command and Conquer's favorite strategy game all time period, but I prefer the turn-based style that allows you to kind of plan out your tactics or whatever for like the whole turn, and then you do it. Whereas like even though I was good at Command and Conquer, I've never been good at StarCraft. StarCraft is just like too fast paced. Like anybody knows anything about StarCraft, Zergling Rush, all that stuff, like my mind just doesn't work that fast for a game like StarCraft. For
150
like,
inputs
I just prefer
a
turn.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Switch 2 features. They announced a lot of the Switch 2 features. The stuff that's returning, you get the middle screen situation with the Joy Cons left and right, kind of the same blueprint style situation. Gyro controls, all that stuff. The screen's bigger. We moved from a 6.2-inch screen to a 7.9-inch screen. Jump from the original 6.2 720p, or if you have the OLED, it was a 7-inch 720p. The new Switch supports 120 frames per second, HDR, which promises smoother gameplay. The new Nintendo Switch 2 will maintain like the same type of thickness, so like it's not really heavier. Kickstand's kind of been overhauled a little bit to make it more sturdier. I don't know if either of you have kind of like played with your situation on like a stand and had like the little things you can put your Joy Cons in to make it like a controller. But I've played like Smite, and I've kind of played with my Switch, kind of like a little mini TV.
Mm-hmm.
Cool 3D audio support for TV and headphones, which obviously would improve sound a lot more. There's a second USB-C port on the Switch, which makes opens the door for more peripherals like Nintendo's new camera, which they have a new camera coming out for the Switch 2, which will be available on launch day. Third-party webcams as well. When docked, that was all portable. When docked, Nintendo Switch 2 aims for 4K resolution, 120 frames per second, and HDR. Leaps beyond the original 1080p 60 FPS cap, which is the original Switch's dock stats. They have revealed new information confirming DLSS, which stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling, for anybody that doesn't know what that is. Console will also support some ray tracing and VRR. It has an impressive AI-powered upscaler, which is going to allow the Switch 2 to hit above its normal weight, so to speak. It kind of the way these initial stats, it kind of suggests that Nintendo kind of wants to deliver a competitive big TV experience, which is what we're not common to. As we talked about, Switch has been leading the portal market for ages. The Wii U, not quite so much, but everything else, like that's where the Switch is kind of hitting everything. The Joy-Con and Pro Controller, which they are working on that now. Joy-Con 2 are significantly upgraded from the predecessors. Larger control sticks and buttons includes much needed beefier SL and SR buttons, address the cramped feelings of the originals. They now magnetically attach rather than slide into the rails that we do right now. Standout feature, in my opinion, and I agree with somebody that wrote an article for our website, which is where I'm getting most of this information from because it's hard to read from my little sticky note. The sliding Joy Cons. We mentioned that racing game, the Dragon Play wheelchair basketball game thing
Yep.
is very innovative for something we're not used to when it comes to the Switch.
Mhm.
But we get games like 4X strategy games like Civilization 7, which will be able to slide the mouse around just like you could on PC. FPS titles like Metroid Prime 4 and other RTS games. Switch 2 Pro Controller evolves, adding a customizable GLGR buttons, which I mentioned on the back. It will also have headphone jack for voice chat support or to keep volumes down, depending upon what you want to use it for. Less stick drift due to the way the Joy-Con 2 controllers have been revamped. So it provides better enhancements like improved durability. If you need an extra pair of Joy-Con 2 controllers for local multiplayer, our good buddy Don Itaku, which wrote the article I'm reading this from, has listed information is at $89.99. Or if you want to get the Switch 2 Pro controllers, that will be $79.99. Both are $10 increases from the original Switch. Storage, granted, the Switch games don't take a lot of storage. However, with games, oh fuck, I definitely missed some games. I just realized, hold on, we need to backtrack real quick before I continue. I missed these games. Enter the Dungeon 2, Star Seeker, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition.
Will it
That's a
run it
big miss. I
though?
forgot that. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Path of the Goddess, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. I know people would kill me if I forgot Hollow Knight Silk Song, but big games like Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, stuff like that. Well, we're going from 32 gigabytes of storage to 256, which is crazy. An extra 250, and also runs special micro SD express cards. No longer micro SD cards in general. They'll be incompatible. These express cards are specifically for just the hardware in the Switch 2 be able to run these more powerful games. You will need this express cards. 256 gigabytes will run you about $50. Battery life is estimated at 2 to 6.5 hours, according to Nintendo's website specifically. A considerably lower minimum, but also mostly within the original Switch's respectable range with 5520 megahertz battery up from the 4310 megahertz of the original Switch. Graphically, games like Mario Kart World, if you're playing that, will hover around 2 hours for battery life, while other games like Deltarune could probably stretch closer to 6.5.
That's impressive.
The game chat and C button, which will be on the Switch Joy-Cons and the Switch Pro controller, introduces C button on the Joy-Con 2, and the new controller operates as game chat, a Discord-like party chat system that will utilize a built-in mic on the console, kind of like PlayStation's built-in mic. The Switch will as well, or a headset, depending upon which one you want to use. The C button can seamlessly voice chat with friends, whether you're racing in Mario Kart World or playing other games. There's also screen sharing is going to be a staple part of the social feature. You can have your friends share their screen, see what's happening in their games. You can play together. You can play solo. You can also play different games. So, like, Skags wants to play Elden Ring. Q wants to play Pokemon ZA while I'm playing something else. We can see each other's gameplay, all that stuff. We mentioned the Nintendo Switch 2 camera that will be available on launch day, or compatible webcams. You can use those, allow you to kind of give a, it's not like a streamer thing, but it gives like that streamer feel. You can see your friends. We'll get into webcams and video games specifically, as I've had some interesting Uno situations on Xbox 360. Nintendo's using NVIDIA's Tensor cores, the camera will crop out your background and tracks your face so that you're always perfectly in view. And there's going to be like the only gameplay that they showed so far is the Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition. Shows like some Connect like mini games where you're hitting like the Mario blocks, kind of fist pumping like Jersey Shore. I mentioned the game share with the virtual game cards already. The overall UI and eShop are getting a refresh, kind of bringing up to modern standards. And okay, so I now have the image: Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi, Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Coliseum, with the one that has Groudon, Kyogre, and the 3 legendary dogs from the second
Coliseum.
generation. Is that one is one of the ones listed.
I'm
But
actually
pretty
kind of hyped for
much
Strikers.
overall, I'd say it's Donataku has this listed as a stellar evolution for the Switch, and I kind of agree. Price points. So I personally have not physically went and looked at price points. I have seen $450 for base Switch to I've seen 500 for bundled Switch, but pre-orders are supposed to go live on a specific date. I forget, it's like June 9th or something like that. However, there's an announcement from Nintendo that says, I'm not going to pull it up. You can pull it up and post if you want to. Says that Switch 2 pre-orders will not be live for the United States on original pre-order date due to the fact they want to see how tariff situation, other stuff plays out, and that situation is affecting multiple things. Trading card games. This new card game called Alestrals. The guy used to be a Pokemon guy, and he's made this card game from scratch. He made an announcement on his Twitter about it affecting other card games. So I could see Switch 2 reaching, I'd say 550, $600 for us over here. And prices are obviously different all over the world. Every country has different form of currency, stuff like that. Stuff in Australia and Canada tends to be cheaper, not cheaper, more expensive than what it is in America. I know they already pay a lot. So luckily they're not tariffing people. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So
I
Switch
got your
features overall,
passports.
what do
We'll
you think?
go over there. Get our
I
switches.
love. Yeah, there we go. We'll just go to Canada and get a Switch and come back. I love.
I will say real quick before you go, hold on.
Yeah.
The Japanese version of the Switch, which is the cheapest version, I'm pretty sure cheapest version is region lock. So you're not going to Japan to get a Switch. That is 100% their region lock. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Bastards.
I love the fact that in the year of our Lord 2025, the most hyped thing that everyone was pumped about for a new console coming out was the ability to talk to your friends. We've been doing it since PlayStation 2. And Nintendo finally is like, why don't we just integrate some kind of easy use game chat? And everybody's like, it's cool. I do like it. I do love that we are finally getting that with Nintendo, but I mean, it is also funny that that is one of those shining features.
And they did the thing that I think everybody has done where they've been like, oh, we have an integrated mic. And anybody can tell you that an integrated mic is fucking awful because somebody's
Now,
going
I'll
to hit
say-
that C button and not
Yeah.
remember it. And you're going to be in some form of a game with them. And you're going to hear their fire alarm, their kids. You're going to hear everything. You're going to hear them munching on Cheetos. It just...
They have a very cool, now that, obviously this is them selling their products, so who knows how well it works. But they say they have a built-in AI model that is supposed to be noise suppressing. So it will pick up voices,
Yeah, it's supposed to cancel out noises. Yeah.
but all background noise it will cancel out. So they had like a guy sitting in his living room with an attached kitchen and somebody's making a smoothie, and they can pick that guy up talking to the Switch. He's sitting on his couch away from his TV where the Switch is, and it picks his voice up and totally cancels out the blender, which, as all three of us know, Discord has a similar kind of noise canceling feature, and that works great until you start talking. So right here now, when I start talking, you're going to hear the blender because it's impossible. I mean, I guess it's maybe not impossible. Maybe Nintendo Switch will change the game on noise suppression. But to totally separate sounds from each other, I mean, that would be a whole new level of voice filtration. But I do love the game chat feature. I think that's going to make games a lot more fun. It's going to feel like playing Mario Party again when you can do that with people. Because Mario Party used to be, we have 4 controllers and people are going to have to take turns and everybody's sitting in the same room having fun. And now with the voice chat and being able to pull up everybody's screens and see each other's faces. I liked when they showed in Jamboree, like, as the character's going, there's a little bubble right by, if you're playing as Birdo, right by Birdo's head, there's a little bubble, and it's just like my face, and you're watching me play the game and laugh and do everything else, whatever we're doing. I think that the features are really cool, and I hope it's not just a gimmicky kind of thing for games like that. I hope they truthfully integrate it in a lot of things. I could see that being a cool feature when, especially now they're making all the Pokemon games more open world, and we want you to jump in with all of your friends and run around in the open world together and catch Pokemon. Features like that make games that much more fun and accessible, especially when you're pushing play with your friends. You have to be able to connect with them in a way that's not. I mean, every time we've ever tried to battle or trade or anything else on Pokemon, I have to text you or we have to be in Discord playing our Nintendo Switch separate from Discord because we can't really talk through the Switch and send me your code, send me this. Imagine just being in game chat on the console that you're playing and being able to do all those things. I think it's a awesome feature. I don't want to buy a camera, but I will.
The one thing I'll say this before we continue on, as someone that's had the webcam for 360, the wireless hearing device, heads, I've had a little bit of all the devices, the Connect. I've played everything. I've experienced a lot of the technical aspects of everything. A word of caution for if there's any older people that have kids out there. You probably want to have like some type of family setting or something specifically for game chat situation, which I do believe they talked about, I think. And
Yes, they
just
did.
because I've I've played Uno and I had a situation arise, me, um, some other guy, and two females were playing Uno. This one chick's boyfriend situation was leaving for work. She was kind of, oh, I don't want you to leave, blah, blah, blah. And then this guy left for work. And then literally in this Uno game, she got topless. So it's a possibility that, there's should probably just all seriousness, some type of family controls for your kids under a certain age. Depending upon what games they'll play. Obviously, some of the situations probably won't affect a lot of the more kiddier games, but anything's possible. So just be wary of certain people out there.
Yeah,
Or they could all parents could also make sure that their kids aren't playing online games with strangers.
exactly. I think that's a very important
True, but
step.
what if you got to trade? What if you got to trade for that shuckle? Like you're just like Chris. You wanna have a shuckle team, and you
You
got to
don't.
trade for
Well,
this
when
random
you're on the
person. It's the only
playground
person that's got a
tomorrow,
shiny shuckle.
Yeah,
when
you
you're on
don't
the
have voice chat
It's
or a
people these
camera.
days. They play online. People don't go see people in person. Nobody likes to leave their house.
no,
That's true.
but a kid goes to
I don't.
school or whatever. Trade your graham crackers
True,
for a
true.
fucking shuckle.
That's a horrible deal.
I know
That's
that's awful. I at least need like a sandwich
Yeah, I'm getting a peanut butter sandwich if if I'm trading a
with some
shuckle.
Pringles.
Shiny shuckle. You're
No,
giving me
oh,
you're
I
Gushers
would love a shiny shuckle.
you're giving me your meal for the week.
for the week, dude. That's a 2-day meal kind of trade.
Mm-mm.
It's a shiny shuckle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're just proving my point. I don't
What's
know
it
what.
mean to you?
Yeah, I don't know why you think that's an argument. But
Chris, I'll get you a shiny shuckle. I'll start working on that tonight.
They don't exist in Scarlet Violet. Damn it.
Well, I'm gonna get you one, and it'll be in bank for when we get your shiny shuckle team going
Okay,
on.
gotcha.
yeah, no, I mean, you
You
can
got
still
anything else
find
to say
some
before
cool.
we switch tags?
You can find. I was just gonna say you can find some cool teams, but that not having everything is a killer, man.
Yeah,
Because I don't think
The
I've
thing is,
ever
like,
had
there's a
a
lot of cool teams.
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
I've ever
Sorry.
had a game where I've actually been able to like put together like my favorites as my team. It's always been like half of them can be my favorites, or like I think that's the most. The most I've gotten is like 4 out of 6 that I could have, and that was in like
Yeah.
Sword and Shield.
There was a lot of cool teams that I seen specifically in Sword and Shield, but um, sometimes after like time passes, like the rental codes no longer work. Like I found this list of 10 teams, and I wrote about 4 of them. But like the number one coolest team on this list was just an all Togepi team, and I really wanted to
Metronome.
write about it, but the rental code did not work. So yeah, it's hard to find interesting
Was it
stuff these days.
was it Metronome Togepiece?
I will actually find it and send you a screenshot of it in a little bit because I have to go. I
Okay.
don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, Togepi isn't in Scarlet and Violet, is it?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
We'd have to find a different Metronome mon for you.
Snorlax or
Ooh,
Munchlax.
do a full team of Laxes.
I don't.
Okay.
I
Maybe
will
he
say
can't. Maybe he can't.
my favorite team to this date that I've wrote about, that I've played with, is a team based around Shedinja. I was playing ranked online doubles, and it got down to the point to where they had I don't know. I just had Shedinja, and literally, like I was not dealing good damage, but I was dealing damage. Shedinja was unaffected by all 4 of this guy's Pokemon. So,
Mm-hmm.
yay, yay
He's
for
the
the one
homie.
hit point Shedinja.
I love Shed I love all ghost types, but Shed Ninja holds a special place in my heart.
Yes,
So,
Snorlax
besides
and
the
Munchlax
prices,
can.
They can. That's
all right,
awesome.
cool. Something else I want to do before we move on is an all baby team like Munchlax, Mime Jr., Smoochum, stuff like that.
We got to make
I
that
used to
work.
have one. I used to have one in a 3DS game, but nobody has found a rental code for me yet. But
Yeah.
overall, before we move on, because you guys got a Monster Hunter topic, and then I got one more we'll try to squeeze in. Both Nintendo shows together, probably, I rank them. The price really is kind of affecting it for me, but I'd say probably 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 for me if I had to grade the Nintendo shows.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd give it around that too. I think that it's always cool to see a new system come out. So there's a lot of hype, already there for that. But I feel like this system has a lot of cool new features too that are worth the hype, if you will.
Yeah, it. Trust me, it's definitely an upgrade. It Some things I'm just not as hyped about as others. Like the voice chat isn't the craziest thing for me because I'm almost always on Discord and I get to talk with the people that I really care to talk with. And a lot of the times when I play multiplayer stuff, I mute people because they do what I was talking about, where they just have their stuff on and I hear everything in the background. But
It's also not an involuntary thing. It is very much like old Xbox. You get into a lobby with each other and you do voice chat. It's not just like an open voice chat kind of thing.
so
So,
it's not like a lobby open voice chat.
no, it is you and your homies get on and start a party and have a voice chat party. As far as I've seen, they will probably come out with games where there's open lobby mic, maybe. That's not really a Nintendo thing, but
Gotcha. Okay, Chris, real quick, sidetrack off of what we were just talking about. What if it's like a pseudo baby team? It's not all babies because we don't
What
have
do you mean
all.
by
So It's gonna be a pseudo baby team that is also a metronome. So we got Munchlax.
I will write about any. Okay.
We got
Go ahead.
Munchlax. We have Cleffa. We also have. Where was she at? I think
Smoochum?
Happiny. I'm not seeing Smoochum, but maybe it. But we have that. We have the little chubby boy Makuhita. We have Slackoth. We have Ralts, Happiny, Munchlax. There. Sinisty.
Technically, only need 4. You only need 4 babies because doubles you only get 4 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And there's also Shroodle. Shroodle's dope. I love Shroodle.
Toxel? Elekid?
Elekid's a
Wait.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
Is
They probably don't know metronome, but
no, they don't. But that's why I was just trying to mash it up because I seen there was a few babies that could learn metronome.
yep.
So if that Togepi team is indeed one of those, we could try it with another Pokemon. We could
It'd be funny to make a.
We can see what happens.
I was gonna say we'll see if we can brainstorm a cool baby team that is at least somewhat competitive. But now Monster Hunter, dude.
Yeah, how did you so me and Q stayed up till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning last night to play Monster Hunter to play the title update. And granted we started super late, but
Yeah.
life is life. What did you let's go with what we first went to, Zoshia. How'd you like the Zoshia?
I think the Zoshia fight is one of my more favorite fights because there's a very clear progression with Zoshia. Some fights you just beat a monster up, beat a monster up, beat a monster up, and then all of a sudden they're dead. Zoshia very much lets you know where it's at and how close it is to dying. I mean, they all do. You're beating them up, but I just feel like the different stages that Zoshia goes through makes it a really fun fight.
And the one thing that I do really like about Zoshia is like that she regrows those like outer armor areas, so it's like you never actually know. Like to me, like every time I see one of them regrow, I'm like, I'm not doing enough damage. I'm not. I need to do more. And you know, you could be one hit away from actually knocking off the armor completely and going to the next stage. And it, I don't know. It's just such a fun fight, and I think it's a nice improvement over base Zoshia, and it's pretty. It seems decently tough, and I mean, I think I did 5 Zoshias last night, and 2 of them ended up in failures because one of them I died twice. I won't lie, and then another one dude took all 3 of our deaths. But I thought I died, but my hunter just hung his head in shame. I was like, "Oh no, I died." No, he was just sad.
And Chris, you said you've never played any of the Monster Hunters, right?
I played one of the older ones, but I've not dove in recently because I've been doing a lot of games that I needed to play for the site and stuff like that. But I'm definitely interested in playing this Monster Hunter at some point.
Oh, whenever you get it, you gotta let us know.
Yeah, for sure, because we'll run through because
it is crossplay. So
yeah,
woo-hoo.
I didn't have as much fun with the and I'm gonna butcher the name because I don't know how to say it, but
Mitsusune.
Is it Mitsusune?
I do believe so. It's a Mitsusune.
Okay. I didn't have as much fun with that fight. It kind of felt. Granted, it is a lower tier
I was gonna
monster than Zoshia, and you and I are both fairly past end game. We're at the point where we're doing crown hunts and we're doing just completing our gear and that kind of stuff. So it should have felt easy, but still a cool addition. I really like them putting it in um the Scarlet area. I think that fits that monster really well, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks really good. I mean, this whole game looks really good, but especially the big flowy monsters like Mitsutsume, and even Zoshia has the really big. I mean, it's not as flowy, but the kind of grand spikes that it has on the armor it grows back.
Yeah.
Um, very
The,
cool update.
the thing I do like about Mitsutsune, and I just did the base fight just like you did, I think, and
Mhm.
it's both monsters. Like they can have a lot going on at one moment, and it just makes you a little frantic. And maybe that's just because I'm new at Monster Hunter, so it makes me a little frantic. But there's a lot to pay attention to, and you can get lost pretty easily. And like the challenge, obviously I haven't done tempered yet, but I'm pretty excited to do tempered Mitsutsume. But like with Zoshia, it's challenging. Like I don't think I did a Zo last night under 20 minutes. I think all of them were like I think my lowest was 21 something.
Yep. I think I jumped in late on one, and those guys had put a pretty good hurting on it, so we had like a 15-minute. But that was, 3 hammers and gun lance. As long as everybody's playing good, you're really going to beat that one up. So
yeah, that thing was probably stunned every 5 seconds.
They were good. Those hammer guys, they were good.
I was gonna say I had some pretty like what felt like bad luck with teammates last night, because obviously you get your one, and like I did my very first one solo, and I think that took me almost 30 minutes solo to do, and it was actually really fun solo, and I would kind of not mind to do one that was just like me and you, or just do another solo one again, because I did enjoy it solo so much. But yeah, no, I'm real happy with the title update. We didn't get too much into the hub that they made last night, but I think both of us will be on at some point and probably go do some of the bowling and make some bets and some fun stuff.
It seems like a cool place to be. I know I think they always want that hub place to be more special than it ends up being, because you want to go in and hang out with your friends and be able to like sit at the table and drink with each other and get to see your characters together and everything. But I mean, I'm here to hunt monsters, man. If I'm gonna be on, we'll go play the bowling game and stuff like that maybe every once in a while, but I'm not sitting and taking pictures. Not until you give me my room where I can start displaying all these beautiful endemic life that I've been catching this entire time.
Yes, because
that's
me
when
and
I'm
you
gonna
both
start taking pictures.
Yeah, because whenever you mentioned something about that, I started actually hunting out. Like, once I found new creatures, I would hunt for the special one. Either the real big fat one or the differently colored one. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have cool pets. And I don't have anywhere to put my cool pets now. And there's actually a limited storage that you have on those.
What?
500.
Oh, no. I gotta be close.
I
gotta be real close.
I don't even know how to check it, so I don't even know how close I am. So I'm literally not catching anything unless it's a special one.
Yeah,
it's great. I enjoyed the title update. We obviously got to explore more of it, but the switch axe Zoshia. It's pretty nice. Pretty
All
nice.
the Zoshia weapons that I've seen look pretty sick, really.
I want to get the longsword and the dual blades for it.
Yeah.
Because both of those look amazing.
The nature of Monster Hunter, dude. You just get on and you're like, well, I guess I'm going to have to fight this thing about 300 times so I can get all the parts to make all the weapons.
Yeah, and I used all my vouchers last night on all 5 of those fights. I'm out of vouchers.
Well,
it's a sad day.
I was going to say, it is a sad day. Do you get, how many vouchers can you get in a day? Just one?
I want to say 1, but I thought that you could do 2, but that might just be because, like, I stack mine up so much, and then I use one, and then it's like, hey, you can actually accept this now. Do you want it? Do you want it? So, yeah, no, that is a nice thing. They did say that they were going to add layered weapons in, and I can't wait for that to happen because Ardian weapons look like my backside. It's just not that pretty to look at.
Now, do you think when we get layered weapons, they will give us the ability to do some color changes like they do with layered armor?
I hope so. I hope so
too.
Because could you imagine if, like, you could change your Zoshia weapon to be all black, or Gore Magala, you can switch all the black to be all white on it,
or you make everything all gold all the time.
Oh no, the King Midas set.
Yep, I'm going for it. The Zoshia helmet gold, wouldn't that be sweet with the like half horn deal that it's got going on? I love that helmet. All right, Chris, we've made you sit here long enough and listen to us gush over Monster Hunter, dude.
So I did want to bring up
actually interested in something that you guys mentioned. I know it's not Monster Hunter, but one of my favorite things about the Phantasy Star games, and it's not my favorite thing about those games, but one of my favorite games of all time, Phantasy Star Universe. Absolutely love the game. Played it for a long time, so many hours. Phantasy Star Online 2 came out during COVID. I put over 900 hours into the game by November that year from March 20 something, whenever it got here. A lot of hours into Phantasy Star games. They have one of my favorite aspects that I would use for if I could put this in other MMOs, like I could build an amazing MMO. But you guys mentioned something about getting a room so you could decorate it with your trophies.
Mm-hmm.
In Phantasy Star, one of my favorite things is you have personal quarters, a room that you could decorate. And I didn't like New Genesis quite nearly as much, but Phantasy Star Online 2 and predecessor, you could decorate your room, and like I would find like just like the coolest, rarest, most expensive stuff. Like I'd have like these dragon heads on my wall, or like one of my rooms would be like this beach style setup, and there are people that go in like certain like into depth with these rooms. I wrote an article about Fantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis, and stuff like that, and me and 3 of the people I played the game with, we took like pictures so I could use them for the article. And like one of the rooms has like this dance floor and all this set up, and like you could have like this gotcha machine type thing where they come in rooms, spend some money, get a random item out of there. Like I would control markets in these games and get like the coolest room decorations. So being that I have not played Monster Hunter, being able to put pull trophies in a room to display them for people, which is another reason I like the game like ESPN NFL 2K5, because you could display your medals and trophies and situations in your house there. Have a room Monster Hunter to display some cool trophies seems interesting to me.
Yeah, and it even kind of goes further than trophies. Like you actually, because the world of Monster Hunter takes place in kind of one of the first areas is a forest and a desert and things. You can't just have one big monster running around in the forest, and it just be trees and that monster. So they have lots of grasshoppers and little animals, squirrel type animals and things that run around and make the world feel full. And something that I love that they did was instead of just making it, oh yeah, you see those animals and maybe you can kill them and skin them or whatever. You just have a net and you can catch them. And when you catch them, you can then display that. So like in Monster Hunter Worlds, the title before this one, you had a room that was like this big open area and it walked out to a pond. And so there's fishing in Monster Hunter as well. And so like you could stock your pond with all the cool fish that you've caught and they actually swim around in there and you can feed them and um you can find these cool little like snake guys that come up out of the ground and there was like pots all over the room and you could make those guys live in there and just a really cool visual way to like look at all the stuff you've accomplished and collected while you've been playing this game.
So
Go ahead, sorry.
Were you able to like actually put like trophies from certain monsters on the wall too? Because
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say.
I want a
would like
Conga
to see
butt.
exactly. I would like to see trophies like that where it's like you taxidermy the head of a monster. I think the only problem with that is though some of these monsters are I mean like you taxidermy a Jin Dahad head, it takes up your whole entire room because he's gigantic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like them to like to see them give us some way of like a trophy like that in that vein, but a way to distinctly tell what monster is what.
Yeah.
They used to do statues, like you would get like a little statuette that you could place, and it would be like one that I had that was cool was a Rathian and a Rathalos, like fighting, and then you remember the little chicken guy that would steal the eggs? He kind of
Yeah.
just looked like a big raptor chicken. He's like running away with an egg, and they're like looking for him. That was a statue I had in the old game.
That's pretty badass. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I want to be able to have like a Conga butt and like a Quamatree's tail and like I want like all of these things because a lot of the monsters that they make are so cool, like insanely cool.
Yeah.
So, quick question for both of you: how long do you think it is until we get a Monster Hunter Magic, like secret lair or something?
I don't know.
It's kind of perfect for it right now with the Dragon Storm coming up because a lot of their stuff is like Dragon Wyvern based.
Yeah.
Pre-release was last night, actually.
Was it?
For the next Tons of Tarkir Dragonstorm pre-release was last night. Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I was gonna try to get on top of that one.
I was in a card shop yesterday and they weren't like advertising it at all. I should have asked.
Yeah, pre-release was last night. I would say, specifically, as someone's been playing Magic many years since I was 16, I would say not likely anytime soon. Specifically because Hasbro, which is the parent company of Wizards of the Coast, are greedy, hungry, big CEO executives that don't really know much about the card games. What they do know about is IP that can generate a mass amount of wealth, i.e., they partnered with Marvel, they partnered with The Walking Dead when that was still popular. They partnered with Fallout around the same time as a TV series. Partnered with I already said Marvel. They partnered with they got a Deadpool secret lair coming out that was for some reason announced on April Fools.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people didn't believe that. SpongeBob, one of the most popular cartoons of all time, kids, adults of all ages alike, know SpongeBob. You've watched some type of SpongeBob. Um, Plus, you know the SpongeBob meme. If you look at the counterspell version of SpongeBob that has a SpongeBob bar, everybody knows that meme.
But see,
Final
that's why
Fantasy.
I was thinking
There's
it
so much.
could be is because Monster Hunter is popular right now. It ain't shit for them to do like a what do they call them again? Like a secret layer of like 5 or 6 dragons to do Rathalos, Rathian, Fatalis, Arkveld, Gormagala, and
I
then
don't think it generates. My thing is, I don't think it generates enough income, especially with a lot of printing presses and stuff. Like there are some printing stuff that prints cards and stuff in the United States, but with card the tariffs and stuff like that, and most of the printing presses are China, places like that. I don't see unless it is almost guaranteed to ship money. I don't see it
Yeah.
well, here soon would be
utilizing.
the
I'm not saying
time.
Monster Hunter is a bad franchise. I just don't see it happening.
The problem also is Monster Hunter is very much a hype game in the US specifically. Like, I love Monster Hunter, and I play Monster Hunter a whole bunch, but here in the next 2-3 months, until we get another update and add more monsters, the US population will severely fall off because it's only about jumping in on the hype, doing the hype stuff, and leaving.
Yeah.
And so over here, and I guess in Magic the Gathering's eyes, that's not a steady enough amount of time and energy being put towards the game for them to look at it. But while we're on Magic the Gathering, to tie us back to the last episode, I wanted to show you guys.
Oh shit!
It came in a couple days ago.
Oh,
The first sliver.
since you're showing that off, let me look and see if I got it. I ordered something the other day.
Uh-oh.
Shit. It's it is a secret layer, but it's they grow up so fast secret layer. Do you know that one, Chris?
I don't. I want to say it's some type of dragon.
Oh
Or there's a
yeah.
dragon in it.
Yeah, it is. It's all of the original dragons of Tarkir, elder dragons,
Yeah.
and
Babies?
it's their grown-up version, and then flip side is their babies.
Oh, didn't you get the one that was for
Nico,
Nicobolus and why can't I think of his name? The homie.
Ugin.
Ugin.
Yeah. Well, I kind of ended up selling that at some point, so I'll have to get it back. But yes,
What the heck,
absolutely.
dude?
I will definitely be getting that back. It's Nico the rat. It's the Ravager Nico.
Yeah.
And it let's see how much of a kick in the ass that's about to be, because they actually at some point released a new art for Scion of the Dragon, like a special art, and I think I might just make my Scion of the Dragon commander deck now.
Well, while we're on the Magic topic,
$50.
we might as well kind of piggyback. Might as well piggyback to the next thing. Speaking of Khans of Tarkir, Dragonstorm. Have you guys looked at any of the spoilers by chance?
I've seen
I've
seen
seen
a few.
Yeah.
Tell me if this makes sense to you guys. It is the first Magic set in a long time that feels like a Magic set.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I understand exactly what you mean right now.
We talked about it, and we were like, this is the first set where we were like, I might buy a box and we just draft it because it feels like Magic again. Just from a few spoilers.
They got so many. Yeah, they got so many cool things that relate to just the overall story. Like they got a new Elspeth that's really good. I really like the Elspeth. They got an Omniscience for dragon spells. They got probably a card that's it's going to be really powerful in Modern, even Commander. Let me scroll down. I have the spoilers pulled up. They have a new Ugin, which Ugin's one of my favorite planeswalker. Ugin, Eye of the Storm, 7-drop,
Mm-hmm.
legendary planeswalker Ugin. When you cast this spell, you exile up to one target permanent that's one or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, you exile up to one target permanent that's one or more colors. So, like in Tron, obviously the goal is to hit the Urza lands, play Karn. Well, now I think it's hit the Urza lands, play Ugin, exile something. Then you got to think you got like Expedition Map, you got all the stuff that kind of gets you to those top tier cards like the fetch stuff. You get some play Graveyard Hate in the main deck. You got all these artifacts that just instantly can help you just wipe away the board. Then like +2, gain 3 life, draw a card. That's really good because Tron doesn't really have many ways of drawing cards that it uses very often, or at least I haven't played new Tron, recent Tron deck, so I can't really talk about that. 0 is add 3 colorless mana. -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle your library. Until the end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. That is baller shot caller. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to get some. They're currently, obviously, prices are inflated because pre-release just happened. Maybe pre-release was last weekend. Anyways, but like they're still kind of like on pre-release prices and stuff like that. So I'd probably, if you're worried about price going up, get it now. I think they might stay the same. So I'm personally going to wait because I don't have the money really to invest in a lot of Magic product. But like they put a lot of effort into making this seem like a real Magic product. They got a cool land cycle, which they have one I'll point out real quick. Mistrise Village. This land enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest. Taps for a blue. You can pay a blue mana. The next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. It's almost like a better Bezeju of the original Bezeju. Bezeju Who Endures, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
So lots of cool stuff. I'm interested. Before we get to the top about the cheating allegations recently, is there any
Ha-ha.
card that stuck out to you?
Well, I just wanted to respond to your like it first one to feel like a Magic set in a while.
Yeah.
Like Neon, as much as I love Neon Dynasty with all the mechs and everything, it didn't feel as much like a Magic set, but like to go back to the last one that I feel like was Kaldheim.
The Spark.
No, I'd give Kaldheim one,
Okay.
but I mean, yeah, if you wanted to go back to War of the Spark, if somebody would say like they didn't feel like Kaldheim got that rub, then I don't think I would argue with them. But to me, Kaldheim felt like it still had that. They looked like they were. It was a little bit more for like. They kind of had more Magic feel with like Bloomburrow than what they had recently had, but it also just felt gimmicky because it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this just feels like this just kind of feels like back in Cons and Dragons era, and it's nice. I love it. You got monkeys, you got dog soldiers, you got the Jin monks, you got the dragons, you got zombies everywhere, you got elves. I mean,
The one card
good.
I have a problem with,
Oh no.
Draco Genesis.
I mentioned
Because
that when you walked away, the omniscience for dragons, yeah.
Exactly. And I can't stand it because we have a buddy who plays dragons. And I
Cole?
understand.
Or
Yeah,
Nathan?
Cole. I understand that it's 8 mana.
That's not
But
hard.
exactly. 8 mana in red. And he plays 5 colors. So 8 mana in 5 colors in a commander deck is nothing. And he
How
will
would you
go search
feel
that card.
Go ahead. How would you
He-
feel if he had the card in hand, he played Faithless Looting, discard it to the graveyard, and then on turn 4 made Shifting Woodland, which is a card that I love, recently printed in Modern Horizons 3, made Shifting Woodland a copy of Dracogenesis. Then he
Exactly.
doesn't even need it in his hand, doesn't have to cast it. I have
Exactly.
currently, credit to Aspiring Spike because he made the deck, but I'm currently messing around with a deck that does that. I play the 4-color Atraxa card or whatever, the newest one, Grand Unifier. Play Grizzled Brand and 4 Omniscience. And the goal is to make Shifting Woodland a copy of Omniscience, and then play Karn, the one that gets an artifact out of my sideboard, do Chris shenanigans. So, I mean, it's possible. I don't hate the card, but, I guess you guys are going to target Cole more often.
Oh, I already do. That dude is my arch nemesis whenever it comes to anything involving us being in the same game. And I feel like I am his because I always get shot in the back in any shooter first, or he gets shot in the back because I know it's coming. But no, I enjoy it. The Dracogenesis just it does feel unnecessary. It feels unnecessary when we have Omniscience around. Like, I don't know. It's cool. I like it because I like dragons, and
It's a good card.
I don't know if I'll use it just be. I think it's one of those things that I'll have it in. No, I think it's one.
You're gonna make a legacy deck. You're gonna make a legacy deck with show and tell.
I'm retired, Chris.
You're gonna make a commander deck with show and tell. You're gonna put Dracogenesis into play, and you're gonna play Molten Steel Dragon, Nicol Bolas, Dragon Lord Jamoka, Dragon Lord Culligan. You're gonna swing for the win. I see it happening.
Listen, I would absolutely love to.
He's casting a spell.
And I am going to make my commander deck with Sign of the Ur-Dragon so that I can show Cole that the Ur-Dragon is not the best dragon commander. It is Scion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Everybody put that on their mom.
Off cons. Yeah, cons of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Excellent set. Happy for it. If I manage to get some money, which who knows, I'll probably get a box or something like that. I'm interested in some cards out there. I want to note cheating in any form or fashion in gaming is not a good thing. So recently, we had a guy, Connor Pattinson is this guy's name. He was playing in the quarterfinals of NRG Standard Showdown. This guy, cool, laid back the whole tournament up until the point he was playing the quarterfinals on camera. People said his behavior, laid back, friendly, banter, normal Magic stuff that we talked about we enjoyed last episode. And we talked about what we enjoyed in Magic. Well, when it came to the quarterfinals, Connor Pattinson was kind of more like shifty, kind of more like reserved, cards back towards, where the camera couldn't see really the cards. And from the moment that they clipped what had happened, he had 2 planes in play. I will know after this round he was deck checked, ended up being disqualified. I don't know if it was specifically for the plane situation, but on his deck list, he had 1 planes on his deck list. So could just be a deck registration error. People benefit of the doubt. People make mistakes on deck registration all the time. However, in this same match, and I didn't notice it until it was slowed down, and, then if there's an MTG cheater, 3 people are going to be on it. Saffron Olive from MTG Goldfish, Vince, also known as Pleasant Kenobi on the internet, and I call him Detective Nikachu. I called him that in his comments. He thought it was hilarious. All 3 made videos about this, and I examined the videos and watched it. And there's a point where he drew a Battlefield Forge for turn. For whoever doesn't know what Battlefield Forge is, it's a land that taps for colorless. You can tap it for red or white. It pings you for 1 damage. Well, the opponent was, I don't know, he was searching for something, or he was doing something on his side of the field, so he was slightly distracted and kind of Connor Pattinson kind of leaned back or whatever. You see his hands go kind of like below the table, and it's really quick and subtle, but you have to watch it in slow mo to actually get the full, like, to see it happening, or at least I had to. Could be my old age. I don't know. But he did something with his hand, and next time we see his hand, the Battlefield Forge is not in his hand. In his hand, it was some card and an Urbrask Forge, another standard card that Magic players will know what it is. An artifact that does stuff. The Battlefield Forge was no longer in his hand. Come to find out, he had been swapping cards in his lap, at least for the quarters final. Who knows whatever else? But they said his behavior didn't really change till the top 8. So Connor Pattinson got caught cheating, and he was disqualified. I'm not going to search for the Twitter thing. If you want to post it in the video and do some posts, you can. But NRG made a statement, and I'll paraphrase it. Cheating's not condoned in any form or fashion, and they will take swift action. This guy is banned from all further NRG events for life.
Ooh.
Never play an NRG event again. A lot of people will think, well, why not disqualify for Magic? Well, the second part of this topic involves the judge system. The judge system has not been partnered with Wizards of the Coast since they ended the contract with the Judge Academy. Judge Academy was pretty cool, took over for the old judge program. A situation happened years ago where people tried to sue Wizards of the Coast for like wages, all this other stupid stuff. So Judge Academy was running the judge program. Eventually Wizards didn't renew their contract, so Judge Academy folded, and then a new thing picked up called the Judge Foundry. Since Judge Foundry picked up, I've been paying $5 a month to be a judge. Granted, I don't travel around and judge too much. I became a judge, help out my local community, local game shops, friends, family, and stuff like that. But I pay $5 a month. I get no rewards. I get no benefits besides saying I'm a level 1 judge, and still have to meet, we'll say, requirements. I recently recertified, meeting majority of the requirements. Then I wrote like a review of myself, stuff I needed to work on, stuff I excelled at, stuff like that, and they accepted my checklist for recertification. So I'm here till at least next year. But even the new judge system, not partnered with the Wizards of the Coast, like, there's no benefit to be a judge. They bringing back old people that have like shady past. I don't know all the details. If you're interested in that, you can probably find a Google search. But they've brought back old people that don't deserve to be judges. There's a lot of judges I looked up to within the community that are letting their certifications lapse, no longer being judges. And since there is no judge thing, there's no website that indicates banned players. So like a lot of historic band players like Alec Bertoncini. He even recently won some like vintage cube thing that was going to allow him to play in some sanctioned event. Luckily, people know he's banned and couldn't. But like, the system's all fucked up right now, and then we get cheating more often than not. A lot of times these days, at least I can tell you, at least once a month, I hear about someone recently. I hear about someone that's been caught cheating in Magic or even other trading card games. Um, I'm pretty sure I heard something about a Yu-Gi-Oh player recently too. So I guess I kind of want to know your thoughts about the situation. I've never encountered somebody personally cheating a person I've caught. You know, our buddy Jack might draw an extra card or something in a friendly commander game. Looking at you, Jack. But outside like a tournament or anything like that, I've never really seen people personally cheating too much. But like, with as much as people are getting caught these days, it's kind of prevalent. And a lot of people have a conspiracy theory. And Vince Pleasant Kenobi has also noted a couple times that people have noted in comments, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And they say all pro players cheat. That's why they're at the upper echelon of their level. They don't, note their good skills, their hard work, the time they put in, deck testing, deck building, the knowledge for the game. They say all pros are cheating. So, what is your opinion on like the judge situation and this cheating thing overall?
When it comes to like the judges and shit, y'all are free labor for these people, and the fact that you don't get anything really in compensation for it is kind of asinine. at least to me.
I do want to note that tournament organizers, stuff like that, when they go to like the big Star City games, the uh, big sanction events, the Ultimate Guard tournaments, whatever, those judges do get paid by like the tournament organizers. But as for paying a judge subscription fee, and Judge Academy was cool because we could get promos and stuff like that, and you could kind of sell those promos to make your fee back that you had to pay. But like we're paying right now, and there's like no rewards outside getting paid by like the tournament organizers and stuff.
And that's what I was going to get to is it used to be kind of a worthwhile hit because you could get those judge promos. Because even me and Q were working on getting our judge certification for a while, and then they stopped doing anything for judges. So we're like, nope, that's just, I mean, the juice is not worth the squeeze. Like, we're not going to go do a Star City Games or anything like that. And at that point, you're just going to have so many people fall off that, I mean, people won't have their regular judges around for their FNMs. Like, not everybody's going to have somebody that's like you that'll just keep it even though you're not getting anything, so that way you can be a judge, like a local judge at our card shop. That's stupid for them to stop giving you guys the promos.
Yeah. And I think if this is just my personal opinion, because it sounds like if there's a lot of people out there going on about, well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Sounds like it's become a lot more commonplace than I ever knew. But to me, at the end of the day, this is just a game. And the whole point is to go out and have fun, play the decks that you want to play with the cards that you like, and just to be out and be social. But when you cross that threshold of like I have to win at any cost, there's no way that can be fun anymore. If you have to cheat, either you have a bad deck or you got bad luck, and part of playing Magic is the luck of the draw. I mean, you can stack a deck as fantastically as you want, especially in 60 card. It's easy to do. To have a deck that pretty much whatever hand you get, you can get what you need to get, but sometimes you get screwed. And if you have to resort to cheating, I feel like that you completely remove the fun of it. I mean, it's like back in the day on Xbox when I would just mod Skyrim so that I had all the best weapons and maxed out skills and everything. At that point, Skyrim's not fun anymore because it's just a sandbox for me to run around and blast dragons and kill people and never be able to die. If you're playing Magic and you're cheating to a point where it may not be random what cards you're getting because you're stacking your hand, then there's no point. You get to win. So then what? Do you really feel good from winning because you cheated your way into the spot? Because none of the winnings can ever be that fantastic. But what, you get like maybe a couple $1,000 and like a full set of the cards or something like that, right? At a normal tournament.
Big normal tournament, yeah. Big tournaments are way different, but
Sure,
there's
but
only
at
been
a
like
big
one
tournament,
cheater of note recently in a big tournament like that. Yeah.
yeah, at a big tournament, I could see. I mean, especially you're going to have cameras and things on you. You have to know that cheating is going to be that much harder to do.
And the thing that confuses me is, did that dude cheat before he got caught? Yes. We're not fucking stupid. He did. If he was going to cheat on camera, there's no way he didn't do it off camera. But you cheated your way up to this point. Like, why would you jeopardize it and risk it even more? Just play it out. Just play it out normal. Like, I don't understand it. And like,
Sounds like he had a bad deck.
Yeah.
If you have to
He
cheat.
just isn't that. He just isn't as good as what he needs to be at that level. But and so like, I actually think that there's one thing that people say is cheating that I actually don't mind at all, and it's the pile shuffle. I don't mind it because we all want to play. We all want to play our decks, and we want to not get mana screwed. We don't want to get locked, like, or flooded. Like, so why not? I mean, as long as you're not specifically setting it up to where, like, I'm getting this card on this turn, I'm drawing these 7 right off the top. It doesn't really bother me all too much. I can understand why some people don't really like it, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. But sitting there with cards in your lap or palming your cards and doing shit like that, or trying to do like sleight of hand tricks, like what is it? What's the famous one? 3 Explorers, right?
Yeah, where he picked back up out of his graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah, like he went to go put it in his graveyard and just put it in his hand, and he explored again, and even like he was sly enough with it to where his opponent was like, yeah, he explored 3 times. And it's like, no, homie did not. And it just, when you go to like that length of it, I don't understand what you're really going after. I've heard some pros say like they just want to do that to get out of like the bottom tier so that they can get to like the higher tier of players and everything. Well, why is everybody getting caught playing against the higher tier of people then? Is it because you've relied on cheating so much that you're actually just kind of a dog shit player? I mean, the game is a game of variances and chances and luck, and that includes your opponents. You can have a real bad matchup, your first one, and it's some dude that it's his first tournament, and he spanks you.
Yep.
I've been beaten. The guy that taught me how to play Magic, Jimmy Albee, I've been beaten by him. He had a worse deck than me, but Jimmy is by far a better player than me. And he was able to outplay me with his worst deck just because of his knowledge of the game, which is one of my favorite aspects of Magic. I implore people to go watch some of these older videos about some of these cheaters from the past and things they did just to kind of get a general understanding. And pile shuffling, I don't really consider that cheating, as long as it's not like before game one, like doing it in between sideboards. That way you count your sideboard. You don't want to get a game loss because you uh, put too many cards in your sideboard, or whatever. It allows you to count your deck, stuff like that, make sure things are kosher. But one thing I want to note is, and it goes for any franchise, any video game, any card game, any hobby, wrestling, everything is the ultimate goal is as you get older, as you progress through something. And I've said this in an interview I did for wrestling or whatever. I did a couple interviews for Sports Wire Radio, just other random stuff of like when it come to wrestling, they asked me what's my favorite generation of wrestling, and I tell them the current generation. They're like, yeah, but you are by far the best or one of the best of all time. Why do you think the current generation is the best generation of all time? I said, well, if the current generation isn't the best, then I didn't do my job to leave this thing that I love in uh, a
But
better situation or a better way than when I came into it. Because the ultimate goal is to bring new people in to whatever particular video game, whatever particular franchise, stuff like that. If we want Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon to continue to grow and flourish, we need to leave it in a better light, a better way than when we joined the game. Like I've been in an FNM. I don't think I've ever said this, but I've been in an FNM, and everybody knows for a long time we played Standard at the shop. Standard, obviously, the prime moneymaker besides Commander for Wizards of the Coast. because all the new sets usually standard. Well, we started playing a lot of modern because standard got really stale with the original Titan situation and all that stuff. So we were playing a lot of modern. And there's people that like draft, people like standard, and they don't want to pay for modern decks. Well, there's this one guy, I'm not going to name him. If he watches this podcast, he might know I'm talking about him. There's this one guy had a mono red deck in modern goblins. It's not Jason. It wasn't his burn deck, so it wasn't Jason. That's not what I'm talking about. It's
I
one
know
guy, mono red
exactly who you're
goblins.
talking about.
And well, you can tell me after the show and see if you're right. Mono red goblins. I'm playing a deck that a guy played on SCG Tour long time ago. It was really cool. Tron Walkers, the Tron lands using Oath of Nissa can pay for colored mana for Planeswalker spells. Really cool aspect. I really love the deck. Well, I was going to slaughter this guy. We're playing in the finals. Like, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I had Tron and Garrick's Apex Predator, which was going to blow up all of his goblins as he played it one by one. Probably had Ugin in my hand. I don't remember the exact layout, but he was not going to beat me. I let this guy win. And I did that because guy won, got his pack, store credit, whatever the prize may have been at the time. You know what happened? The next week he played again. Granted, I will say after a few weeks of him not winning, the guy got mad and didn't play modern anymore. But the goal was trying to bring people into a format or a game that we love and leave it in a better place than when we came into it. And it's the same thing. Jimmy Albee and Aaron Reed were big introductions from Scott Mullen too. I got to mention Scott too because it was his house. They were big introductions to me in Magic, and look at me now. I've improved drastically as a player. Way better collection. I'm a judge. Been judged for multiple years. Brought more people into the game. Riley, all of our buddies, you guys continue to play, even though it's just Commander right now. But like, that's the goal, is to leave whatever particular franchise, wrestling, video games, whatever. We want to continue our hobbies and stuff that we love to grow and expand. And we got to do that by not shining a bad light on them. And when you get people like Colin Pattinson, I think that's his name. I've deleted my notes already. But you get this Pattinson guy. Sad to say, Yuya Watanabe was caught cheating at a Mythic Championship or something that was modern. He's the one that had the Urza, he was playing Tron, and the Urza lands were marked with the sleeves, had like an indent or something. Whether he did it, whether the people that gave him the cards did it or whatever, he got caught cheating. Like, some of those people shine a bad light onto the game. Luckily, we have people like Luis Scott Vargas, which is a good ambassador for the game. Reed Duke, stand-up guy. We got all these people, pro players, that do shine a good light, do attempt to bring new people in the game. They're also, next weekend, they're also like the spotlight people for Dragons of Tarkir Dragonstorm for the next event coming. So I want Magic, I want Yu-Gi-Oh, even the games I don't really play, Pokemon, Alestrals, Nostalgics, Dragon Ball Z, every possible trading card game to flourish, because one person wins, we all win. So that's kind of my take on the whole situation.
Yes, sir.
Anything to keep them off online, man. We got to keep some local game stores open so that you've got somewhere to buy packs that isn't Walmart. Because you might have to literally fight your way. Exactly. You might have to fight your way through the card aisle past all the people who are fist fighting over Pokemon cards to hope you can get a pack of Magic cards.
Yeah, it's fucking awful, man. I don't understand why people are the way that they are, but they are the way that they are.
Dollar signs.
Yes, sir. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up. And you got it. Anybody got any closing statements for anything? Any announcements? You want to announce any articles, Chris? Whatever.
Went live 7 a.m. today. My review for Baldur's Gate 3. I thought someone got a code for it. They were going to review it. I thought they had reviewed it already, or I would have beat it sooner and reviewed it. But really great game. I'm not going to spoil it, but definitely a master class in what it is. So go check that out. And a lot of South of Midnight coverage. It's a Xbox game that is going to be on other platforms. It might be on PlayStation. I can't remember. Definitely check out and see South of Midnight. They team behind that put a lot of work into the aspects of this game. I'm sure you guys haven't played it, but recommend checking that out. Check out my Baldur's Gate 3 article out. I'm playing Fantasian Neo Dimension. There'll be a review for that at some point, and we'll see what else I got cooking.
All right. And this is probably going to go up after all this, but later on tonight, I will be live playing some Monster Hunter. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you tuned in and watched. Q will probably be there, being short round with me, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun, boys, and let's some of us got some stuff to get to, so let's call it. So, all right, this has been Dodgy Yeti, Chris Jones, and Q, aka Short Round, for the Thicc Boi Hours. You're never gonna lose that nickname now.
I know, especially because you keep, just digging and digging.
I'm gonna get a shirt for you one day. But all right, everybody have a good day, and we're out. See ya.